Good day. We are going to look at debtors reconciliation and age analysis. Debtors reconciliation is nothing new. It's work covered in grade 10, where we're specifically looking at the debtors list must be equal to the control account. Age analysis is new to grade 12. It's something that we will look at a little bit later on. The focus of this activity is where we look at the debtors list must be equal to the debtors control account. A common question asked in tests and in exams is, provide one reason why the balance of the debtors control account and the total of the debtors list should be the same. In other words, why should it be equal? If I look at the whole process, when we have a transaction, that transaction is taken to a specific journal. From the journal, we post it to the ledger account. The ledger is their personal account. It means all the transactions that happen during that month is taken to the individual's account. Because why? At the end of the month, we need to send them a statement which shows exactly what is the amount due. So from the ledger, we compile the debtors list. The list is a summary of all the debtors with their outstanding balances. From the journals, we post the totals to the control account. The control account is a summary of all the transactions that happen, of all our debtors. So if we've done this process correctly, it means that the list should be equal to the control account. Looking at this activity, what is required? Calculate the correct debtors control account balance after taking the account into the relevant errors and omissions. Then calculate the correct balances of the debtors by taking into account the errors and omissions. So if I look at the debtors control account, in the general ledger, we have a balance of 111,000. If I add up each of the debtors' outstanding balance in the list, it gives us a total of 106,420. So clearly there's a difference, and now we need to find those differences and correct it. So looking at the first transaction, number A, the debtors journal was incorrectly totaled as 34,320 instead of 29,140. So here they're specifically talking about the journal, which means we need to correct it in the control account. Nowhere that they mention any individual's account. Debtors journal means that we've sold goods on credit, which means the debtors control account should be debited. So they've incorrectly debited as 34,320 instead of 29,140. So we have overstated this total with 5,180. So overstate means that we've shown it as too much. We've shown that our book debt is more than what it actually is, which means that we will need to take out 5,180 from the 34,320. So to take it out, we will need to credit the debtors control account, and that will have a negative effect on the balance. If you're not sure to take it out, should I debit or credit, for example, balance this account. If the debit side must be equal to the credit side, then that difference must be recorded on the credit side. And what effect will it have? It will have a negative effect. Transaction number B. An invoice issued to debtor B. Tom for 900 has not yet been recorded in the books of Donovan Traders. So not yet recorded means it's been left out. An invoice is taken to the journal And from the journal, we post it to the ledger account, the individual's account, and we need to post the total to the control account. So if this has been left out completely, it means that we will need to do a correction in both the individual's account and in the control account. So if I open up Tom and I open up the control account, an invoice means that he owes us more money, so we will need to add 900 to his account. That will appear on the debit side. So if we make a change to the individual's account on the debit side, the same will appear in the control account. We will need to add 900. Transaction number C. An EFT payment of 6,750 received from debtor C. Roger in full settlement of his account of 7,500 was entered into the account of D. Roger. So we've incorrectly posted it to the individual's account. So how do we correct this? If I make a mistake with the individual, we're going to have to plus and minus the individual's account. So if we plus and minus, it will have no effect on the control account. So we're only going to correct this in the individual's account. So we need to open Roger, C. Roger, and we need to open D. Roger. So again, it was entered into the account of D. Roger. So we made the mistake in his account. Full settlement means paid in full. So there's no outstanding balance. He paid the full amount. This means we can use the 7,500. We must use the 7,500. It was incorrectly credited to Roger's account, D. Roger. So to correct this, we need to take it out of his account. So to take it out, we will need to debit his account with 7,500, which will have a positive effect on his balance. For every credit, there's a debit. So now we've correctly taken that EFT payment to C. Roger to show that he has settled his account. He paid it in full, which means he owes us 7,500 less. Transaction number D. The bookkeeper posted an invoice for 1,500 to the wrong side of a debtor B. Tom's account. Posting to the general ledger was correct. So this means that we have done it correctly in the control account. The mistake was made with the individual. So now you need to remember, an invoice means that this individual, Tom, owes us more money. But we posted it to the wrong side, which means that we've incorrectly posted it on the credit side, 1,500. So we said he owes us 1,500 less, instead of showing that he actually bought on credit from us. So to correct this, we need to take that 1,500 out. So we need to put it on the debit side. By taking it out, we've only cancelled the transaction. We still need to record the 1,500 to show that he bought on credit. This means that his account will need to be debited with 3,000. And that will have a positive effect on the balance. Please take note, whenever an account is incorrectly debited or credited, we always need to correct it by adding it twice. Why? We first need to cancel that transaction that was done incorrectly, and then secondly, we still need to show the transaction that actually happened. Transaction number E, goods sold on credit to debtor C. Roger for 5,900 were correctly recorded in the debtor's journal, but incorrectly posted to her account in the debtor's ledger as 9,500. So here, what happened? We've posted it correctly to the journal, which means that the control account is done correctly. The mistake happened with the individual. So we need to open C. Roger so that we can make the correction in her account. We've incorrectly recorded the goods sold as 9,500 instead of 5,900. So we've overstated her account with 3,600. So we said she owes us more money than what she actually does. So to correct this, we need to credit her account. We need to deduct it with 3,600 to show that she's actually only bought goods for 5,900. And again, similar to transaction number A, if you're not sure what to do, balance the account. The debit side must be equal to the credit side. So the difference will need to be shown on the credit side to balance this account, and that will have a negative effect on the balance. So if I look at all the transactions that we've done now, if we've taken it to the debtor's control account and we've taken it to the debtor's list by correcting it in each individual's account, it means that the debtor's control account should now be equal to the debtor's list.